event again.
Данный фестиваль призван объединить как известных авторов, так и молодых талантливых авторов, объединить их в общем культурном литературном развитии и для распространения литературы Центральной Азии за ее пределами.
The main mission of the festival and of the project is to introduce more new upcoming writers as well as the professional writers and poets, and have some international exchanges, and to build this friendship bridge from west to east, and to have this friendship of the nations.
В рамках фестиваля проводится традиционный литературный конкурс, который в этом году набрал более 750 участников из более 20 стран мира.
And this time we have more than 750 people or participants of this festival, and they are from more than 20 countries. Yeah.
И для торжественного открытия 4-го международного евразийского книжного форума и литературного фестиваля позвольте предоставить слово послу Турецкой Республики в Великобритании господину Абдуррахману Bilgic'u.
And I would like to invite His Excellency Ambassador of Turkey to United Kingdom, Mr. Abdurrahman Bilgic, to open this event. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to be with you today for the opening of the Open Eurasia and Central Asia Bookworm and Literature Festival. Over the last 4 years, this event has established itself as a popular platform to demonstrate the past and present achievements of the Central Asian literature to a broader public. I would like to congratulate the organizers, Hertfordshire Press and Yunus Emre Institute for their success in bringing together distinguished names from a wide geography. Prominent literary figures from Eurasia, Central Asia, and beyond are all represented here. I feel privileged to address such a distinguished audience. Ladies and gentlemen, I find this event particularly important for two main reasons. First one is related to the richness and greatness of the Central Asian literature and its relative lack of publicity here in the UK. From epic stories to poems, Central Asian literature nicely displays traditions and nomadic culture of its people. There are excellent works depicting the life in the harsh steppes or Soviet gulags. They are all beautifully written. Part of this wealth comes from geography. For centuries, Central Asia served as a natural bridge between the West and the East. As such, the Central Asian literature has developed under diverse influences from its Persian, Arabic, Turkic, and Russian counterparts. However, most of these excellent works are not available to a wider audience. There are not enough translations of traditional and contemporary works. We should find ways to gather the attention of publishers and readers to the Central Asian literature. Events like this are concrete steps taken in this direction. Secondly, I would like to highlight the hostship of Yunus Emre Institute, taking into consideration Turkey's relations with Central Asia. We have deep historical, cultural, and linguistic ties with the region. The current level of our political and economic relations with Central Asian countries is a clear reflection. Turkey is the first country to have recognized their independence. We currently have unique, high-level strategic cooperation mechanisms with Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. Our trade volume and investments in the region are ever increasing. We have also developed our relations in the field of culture and education. In 1993, we jointly established the International Organization of Turkic Culture, Turksoy, for protecting the Turkic culture, art, language, and historical heritage. We also spearheaded the Summit of Turkic-speaking countries for an enhanced solidarity and cooperation. As of 2009, this process is culminated with the establishment of the Turkic Council in Istanbul. Our deep interaction with Central Asia is also reflected in the field of literature. We share the heritage of Fuzuli with Azerbaijan and Yesevi with Kazakhstan, for example. One of the short stories of legendary Cengiz Aytmatov was filmed in Turkey almost 30 years ago, The Girl with the Red Scarf. It is still remembered as one of the best examples of Turkish cinema. Against such a backdrop, I congratulate again the Yunus Emre Institute for hosting this event. I sincerely believe that it will be extremely beneficial for promoting Central Asian literature here in the UK. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency. Сегодняшнее открытие посвящено памяти народного писателя Кыргызстана Казата Акматова. Он внес свой значительный вклад в развитие кыргызской литературы, принимал участие в наших предыдущих фестивалях, и в прошлом году в Казахстане он удостоен государственной медали за вклад в развитие литературы в Казахстане. И для приветственного слова позвольте пригласить посла Кыргызской республики в Великобритании госпожу Гульнару Искакову.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's event were dedicated to Kyrgyzstan people's writer Kazat Akhmatov. I do apologize to, and for his excellent work in Kyrgyzstan literature within the country and also abroad. And I would like to now to invite Her Excellency, Ambassador of Kyrgyzstan to Great Britain, Madame Gulnara Iskakova. Thank you very much.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and participants of this forum, let me just say friends. I joined the previous speaker in cordially welcoming you to this evening in the memory of the Kyrgyz writer Kazat Akhmatov and his book Arham. Marat Akhmetjanov came to talk to me and impressed me so much with his in-depth knowledge of Kyrgyz writers and their works. Because of the nature of his interests, he ran himself and has his own frank and at the same time very considerate and competent opinion of every book that he presents during his book festival. Personally, I opted to rely on his recommendations while choosing what to read next out of our writers. And we are grateful to him for organizing this big festival, which provides opportunities for both British readers, critics, publishers, and Central Asian writers and their works to meet and get known to each other. I would like to express our gratitude to His Excellency Ambassador Abdurrahman Bilgic for the long-term and consistent cooperation of your country with our countries of Central Asia, and for the support of this particular event by providing the facilities of this wonderful Yunus Emre Turkish Cultural Center. Importance of this kind of events for cultural exchange between peoples cannot be underestimated, as they contribute to better mutual understanding and mutual enrichment of each other. In this regard, let me also to warmly greet a prominent Kazakh writer, editor, a member of the parliament, former ambassador to the Kyrgyz Republic, Mukhtar Shukhanov, who is going to share his thoughts with us today. I am also happy to note participation of many other my compatriots in this festival. A renowned Kyrgyz writer, former Minister of Culture, Sultan Radev. It is gratifying that his work, titled Kara, which was awarded the International Prize Best Novel 2014, will be presented at this international festival. As far as I know, his book will be published in English language this year by Hertfordshire Press. I am sure that during the presentation of his book here in London, you will become more familiar to the traditions and the modern state of the Kyrgyz literature. I am glad that the forum also involves Shahsaneh Murray, a writer of the Kyrgyz origin who has lived in Britain for many years and become engaged in literature. Our country is most of all known by Chingiz Aytmatov. And first thing when people ask me about, once they learn that I'm from Kyrgyz Republic, it's about him. And second thing is about our mountains and the Lake Issyk. However, we have got many other good writers, and today's evening is devoted to the memory of one of them, Kazat Akhmatov. To our deep regret, he cannot be with us today. In 2012, his 17-year-old daughter tragically died being hit by a truck. And it was a big blow for the writer. After that, his health rapidly deteriorated. He fell ill and passed away last September. But Kazat Akhmatov left his many works, such as Youngster, Holy Fatherland, Munabiya, The Years Around the Sun, Two Lines of Life, and many others. Some of his works were put into performance on the stage in the theaters of Kyrgyzstan. Some of them were translated into English language, and that may be served in that the Queen Elizabeth welcomed him and her Buckingham Palace. Arhat is the last work of Kazat Akhmatov, who received the State Prize of the Kyrgyz Republic named after Toktagul Satulganov, and the Soviet Union Prize of Nikolai Ostrovsky. For his works, he was awarded the Jubilee Medal Manas 1000, named after the hero of our biggest oral epic in the world. Fortunately, I read Arhat when it just came out. In Buddhism, Arhat means one who is worthy, a perfected person who has attained nirvana. In other Buddhist traditions, the term has also been used for people far advanced along the path of enlightenment, but who may not have reached full Buddhism. To me, the novel is about a Kyrgyz boy who went through the hardship of studying in Tibet, had his third eye opened, and was destined to put his entire life in the search and service of fairness. This global scale of the book gave birth to questions by some critics back at home, like why the Kyrgyz boy has to go that far in order to find fairness. Couldn't the writer had his hero find fairness at home? But as majority, I was very much impressed by the book and its global scale. I think one has to go very far in order to better see what is at home. I thank you.
Спасибо большое, госпожа посол. Сейчас мы хотим представить вашему вниманию короткий фильм об истории фестиваля.
Thank you very much. We would like to now to screen a short film that dedicates to the history of this festival. And it's a very short film, and then we will continue our speakers. Thank you very much. Enjoy the film.
It's a great honour to be here at the Central Asian Festival of Arts and Literature. I've been looking forward to it for months. It's very important that we in North Europe, and I count Britain as North Europe, learn more about the great treasure, the huge resources, cultural impact and energy from this part of the world. And the more we can do to make that a reality as opposed to just a dream, the better.
Я считаю, что это достаточно интересный фестиваль, в том смысле, что для меня я всегда ищу каких-то диалогов и возможностей к реализации того, чем я занимаюсь. Всегда хочется живого общения, хочется находить и общаться с отличными интересными людьми, творческими людьми. Global Central Asia дает такую возможность. На мой взгляд, это очень прогрессивный и интересный формат фестиваля, где, в принципе, ты выбираешь сам себе роль. Естественно, те люди, которые собираются здесь, литераторы, видеохудожники, кое-какие музыканты, это все создает очень такую творческую, дружелюбную атмосферу, в которой хочется вариться.
Я думаю, фестиваль это только начало, потому что есть вещи, которые быстро развиваются, а потом быстро гаснут. А есть, которые только набирают обороты. Я думаю, что вот этот литературный форум, который сопряжен с большими расстояниями и совершенно разными культурами, это только набирает обороты. И оно крайне важно, особенно в наш очень такой тяжелый период, когда началось обострение и запахло холодной войной. Очень важно с английским миром, чтобы русский мир сопрягался с английским миром. И это чтобы было на территории Центральной Азии. Я целиком за. Это очень хорошо.
Фестиваль настоящий имеет прекрасную цель, благородную цель, гуманитарную цель. Он называется, посвящен продвижению центральноазиатских авторов, поддержка центральноазиатской художественной литературы. Я уже об этом говорил вчера. Это колоссальное значение имеет для развития литературы Центральной Азии. Но, я скажу больше, обозначает огромнейшие проблемы человечества. И такие фестивали надо проводить везде всюду, на каждом уголке земного шара. И повернуть людей к книге. Вот в чем заключается.
I think for me the reason it's so important is because of the literature tradition of the region, which has basically been unexplored by the outside world, and also the now growing interest of the outside world in setting literature within Central Asia as well.
Разные цивилизации, разные культуры, через культуру народа должны сближаться. А сближение возможно только тогда, как они лично общаются. Поэтому для Казахстана важно, чтобы известные западные поэты и писатели присутствовали на нашей территории и имели возможность пообщаться с нашими писателями. А вы знаете, что писатели есть уникальными людьми, которые через них выражаются весь дух народа. И поэтому я думаю, что вот это не будет очень плодотворно и эффективными, когда такие известные зарубежные поэты, писатели, Дэвид Перри, как Джон Ман, вообще с нашими писателями, и он пришел взаимное проникновение, взаимный интерес. Будет взаимный интерес, будет взаимное уважение, культура различается, и меньше будет у всех конфликтов, и меньше будет всяких передряг.
Фестивали, они в первую очередь привлекают внимание к книге, к чтению.
И судя по тому, что я сегодня услышал, я был только один день, но мне очень понравилась и обстановка, и дебаты, дискуссии, и музыка, которая сопровождает народная, удивительно, речи такие страстные. Судя по всему, Казахстан, казахстанцы, казахи – это нация читающая и, значит, думающая о себе и о своей стране, о своем будущем, настоящем. И я думаю, такие фестивали тем и хороши, что они привлекают внимание к книге, к чтению, к думанию, к размышлению. Есть где выговориться и высказаться интеллигенции, причем и речи такие не под копирку, речи разные, страстные, горячие.
Я думаю, что у этого фестиваля большое будущее. С каждым годом количество участников у нас расширяется, поэтому наша Академия спорта и туризма тоже в этом году выступила одним из организаторов. И мы об этом не жалеем. Наши студенты, преподаватели, вся общественность в эти дни могла, так сказать, познакомиться с творениями лучших писателей Центральной Азии. Я думаю, это всем нам очень большая польза. Кроме того, она объединяет народы мира. Вот когда мы, кстати, разбежались по своим национальным квартирам, сегодня мы благодаря этому фестивалю будем опять вместе.
Очень многие мои коллеги на фестивале отвечали на этот вопрос. Я слышала самые разные точки зрения. Я согласна с точки зрения моих коллег, что это объединяет людей, что это поднимает Центральную Азию в глазах общественности, мировой общественности. Но для меня это важно как для бизнес-тренера, потому что, работая с нашими слушателями, казахстанцами, мы обратили внимание, что очень многие алматинские казахстанцы заточены под бизнес, под успех, под карьеру. Это замечательно, но при этом в спешке за успехом мы теряем человеческое. И вот эти фестивали как раз-таки нас возвращают к истокам, к литературе, к самому себе, к духовности. Вот для меня этим важен фестиваль.
Такие книжные форумы очень важны. Прежде всего, они объединяют людей, которые действительно любят книгу, людей, которые издают книгу, людей, которые волнуют продвижение книги. И у нас в Казахстане, вот мы как бы члены ассоциации издателей, полиграфистов, книгораспространителей, в общем-то, это задача ассоциации. Но мы одни такую бы задачу не выполнили. Поэтому вот такие форумы как раз нам помогают. Тем более это не просто как бы чисто казахстанский там, это здесь собрались авторы и писатели, и известные люди из Центрального азиатского региона. И такие общения, они, конечно, приносят много нового, обогащают. Здесь приехали зарубежные гости, которые тоже познакомились с нашей литературой, познакомились с нашими писателями. И такие встречи только на пользу.
Праздник книги – это душа книги, которые всему миру, издатели, писатели, поэты, встречаются в этом фестивале.
Укрепление международных связей, что очень важно в наше время. И люди искусства с разных точек нашей земли, они могут соприкоснуться друг к другу, могут проникнуться в искусство других народов, прочувствовать это, пронести через себя, показать себя, тоже свое искусство показать.
Well, basically this festival is a short international festival in Central Asia. The whole important thing is, in our point of view, the debutante, like young author or the established authors, that we actually could expand the whole literature world of Central Asia to English-speaking audience, which is actually a very, very hard work, but at the same time it's important one as well.
Мне кажется, он важен тем, что люди учатся здесь общаться, потом для творческого человека очень просто необходимо где-то себя реализовать. Необходимо показать свои работы, не писать стол, не рисовать стол, предъявить их как бы всему миру. Вот и этот фестиваль, он, мне кажется, способствует этому очень хорошо.
Новый автор, новые идеи. Когда где-то подобно книгу, новую книгу. Потому что несколько там новую книгу. Это важно для писателей.
Для многих людей
людей с этой части мира, в которой я теперь живу, Германии, Польши, я живу в двух странах, он не так знаком. Для многих людей, они знают, где эта страна есть, но очень мало знают о том, что в этих странах есть прекрасная литература. И для меня это важно, чтобы эти информации и этот месседж взять с собой в Германию, в Польшу и об этом рассказывать. Поэтому для меня это очень важно.
Это не только мост дружбы, а именно книга нужна для взаимопонимания, для расширения наших кругозоров между разных национальностей.
Что он объединяет наши народы, всех жителей Центральной Азии или Средней Азии, как мы ее называем. Он дает возможность духовного роста для молодежи, для всех, кто стремится к этому, и не только для жителей нашего региона, но и для людей на Западе, которые интересуются литературой, которые интересуются культурой Средней Азии.
В всем участвуют люди различных социальных слоев, различных стран, различных этнических групп. И вот этот вот своего рода синкретизм и какой-то космополитичный, что ли, интернационалистический тон этого фестиваля, мне кажется, исключительно важным, потому что только вместе, я думаю, Центральная Азия, ее культура будет иметь какое-то значимое будущее, так сказать, в мировом контексте.
Во-первых, очень интересный, потому что в нем собралось множество творческих людей. И первое и самое значимое — это то, что состоялось огромное количество интереснейших знакомств.
Безусловно, это для многих, особенно для победителей, это прорыв в творчестве и получение подтверждения для именно того творчества, которое человек создает. Также это очень важно, потому что, в принципе, искусству, культуре уделяется не так много внимания в последнее время, а именно это создает будущее. Именно культура и искусство, и деятели культуры и искусства, они создают наше будущее, не кто-либо другой.
Я думаю, что в первую очередь это важно тем, что создается диалог, создается площадка, люди могут там поговорить и ответить на вопросы друг друга, но самое главное, создаются новые связи. Это здорово.
It's important. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for people to network, to meet each other, because we forget in the West how far apart and how large these Central Asian countries are. And we assume that everybody knows each other. But they do through this. And this is my second festival, and I'm recognising old faces, and it's lovely to discuss and discover what they've done in the last year and what their new plans are. And it's a very exciting time, and I think Hertfordshire Press should be applauded for being one of the very smallest publishing houses who is taking the risk to invest in Central Asian literature.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We do apologize for this small technical issue. We couldn't get the subtitles out, but I don't think you really needed a translation of this. This is obviously about this festival, and the mostly people talked about the importance of this festival and the platform that this festival creates for the writers and creative people from Central Asia for networking and meeting each other and exchanging ideas and keeping this relationship as an ongoing project.
Далее, для продолжения нашего вечера, мы просим профессора Весна Голдворси сказать несколько слов.
And we have one of our honorable guests tonight here, Madam Vesna. Is it you? No?
It's not me.
Oh.
Vesna Goldvorsi.
You're on behalf of...
Yeah,
sure.
Has to go.
No problem, madam. Please do come join the microphone.
Well, I have to say a few words on behalf of Vesna Goldvorsi. My name is Vesna Petkovic from Pro Art, a British company. And also we run the Serbian library in Fulham, Hammersmith and Fulham libraries. So our work with books is very, very long and very special. Vesna Goldsworthy wanted to say she was a very prominent writer, also background from Serbia, but her book, Gorski, was written this year and published this year, and it was in September winning the book of the month, but now it's the book of the year. Gorski is written, of course, in English, and it would be interesting to see, but she wanted to say a few words which His Excellency Turkish Ambassador already said. And I think she would agree with you completely, and I do agree with you. The whole point of small publishers and writers from Central Asia or countries whose languages are not prominent and widely spread, they have problem in translation. And they have problem to come to the countries like Britain or Europe or America, where wider audience has to be reached. So this kind of festivals and this kind of work with translations of writers from the Central Asian region makes them available to all of us who do not speak languages of Central Asia and who do not speak Russian as well, because most of them are translated in Russian. So I think that Hereford Press and the Silk Road Media is doing one pioneering work to bring to us something which is worth reading and knowing, and the authors who are as good as any from here or America. Thank you very much.
Поскольку наш сегодняшний вечер посвящен памяти Казата Ахматова, и у нас есть особенный гость сегодня, литературный критик, член семьи великого кыргызского писателя Чингиза Айтматова, Кочи Акада. Мы хотим вас пригласить, чтобы вы рассказали о творчестве Казата Ахматова. Несколько слов.
Thank you very much, and I would like to invite Madam Kochi Akada, our honorable guest, family member of the great Kyrgyz writer Chingiz Aytmatov. Please, Madam. Kochi Akada.
I think if to speak about Kazat Aytmatov, it is really rather pleasant because he was a friend of the family. But on the other hand, if we speak about Chingiz Aytmatov, probably everybody knew him. And other thing about two of them, it is not really that about closeness, because when it comes to both of them, it's rather difficult to speak about writers as they will be in extremely cozy relationship, because it's always about who achieved fame and who didn't. But to the credit of Kazat Aytmatov, it was incredibly rare person as a writer. He was lack of any kind of malice, and he was also, to his credit, what we can really say, he was devoid of any kind of creative envy. He was very dignified person indeed, and my really memory of him, of course, it was really since, I would say, early childhood. And as that really, it was not really, I would say, we would say, think about each other very seriously, because by the time, I was not actually a literary critic, but it happened to be an art historian, being in Institute of Language and Literature, we just had plainly study Aytmatov. It was just really like 5-year economic plan. You have to study Aytmatov for 5 years. So I negotiated that I will do really interpretation of Aitmatov because I cannot really use my stepfather as a form of, because discretion is a virtue. So with Kazakh Aitmatov, by that time, we have to really speak about Kyrgyz Union of Writers. It is small union, and I would say about by the end of the Soviet rule, there was no more than 100 members. We have to really speak about Kyrgyz culture and not something grandiose, but it's really that small quantity of people could really produce interesting works. This was really about interesting part of it. Probably it was one of the smallest actually unions of artists, cineasts, writers. And even after the post-Soviet period, we cannot speak about than 300 writers in total. About Kazakh Aitmatov and many other Kyrgyz writers, it is quite difficult to speak about Kyrgyz literature because there is a big shift between 1950s and 1970s. It is writers who really emerged during a period of stagnation. It was difficult for them to write, and they really concentrated not in a big genre. They really concentrated on storytelling, and for them their favorite choice would be short stories. And as such, it really didn't come too much of Kyrgyz literature. It's really about Kazakh Aitmatov that he made his name after the fall of the Soviet Union, when there was no any kind of support for the writers. And for that reason, I think he's most of the interesting writers. That he really expanded and he really wrote about various issues. And it's also, he moved from short stories to novels. His writing is always incredibly elegant, I would say. It's about very concise, keeping the storyline, and it's also about engaging with issues which are not very easy, as fragmentation of the Soviet Empire and how really it survived on edges, on fringes basically. It is also about how communist rule changed people in a way that they started following to the faith, religious faith, or different religious faiths, because he was really quite aware. Kazakh Aitmatov was a very curious person. He liked traveling, and he was interested in other cultures. He was never insular. To his, he always was in a very kind of childish pleasure, actually, seeing other people, and he was very, very interested in them. With his modesty, because he was a very modest person and not very kind of full of himself, as a great writer. And for Kyrgyz people, writers have got a special position with this lack of knowing our own history, because it was very much close to us. We couldn't really read about it, we couldn't really know about our ancestors very often who were persecuted. So writers are some kind of window to the open world, and he was one of the type of people. Thank you very much.
Спасибо большое, госпожа Кочакада. И несколько слов хотела бы добавить Гульнара Касмамбетова. Это кыргызская служба BBC, она была лично знакома с Казатом Акматовым и хотела добавить несколько слов. Гульнара Касмамбетова presents Kyrgyz department of BBC, and she would like to add some words about Kazat Akmatov because she personally knew him.
I would like to tell about the impact of Kazat Aitmatov work, Arhat particularly, onto the life of one family. My father is a storyteller, Manaschi, and when he was 75 years old, he and my mom came to London. For a long time, they were invited to the source to explore Central Asian storytelling, and I had to entertain them while they're at home and I'm at work, and I brought Kazat Aitmatov's Arhat to them. Lamas are excited, they are concerned, they have to find where the next Lama was born. And they calculated, and it was very difficult for them, and they finally found him. And the boy was growing in a modern country called Kyrgyzstan. And there are intricate and very intriguing ways how the boy occurs in Tibet. And he goes through all the hardships of learning how to become spiritually mature. And my parents were reading that book, and they were very, very deeply impressed. And imagine this is a culture of Tengrias, people who were worshipping the skies, the mountains, the rivers. And I came back from work, and mom and dad, remember, one is 75, another is just under 70. And they say, okay, daughter, you have to take us to Tibet. What? Why would you like to go to Tibet? Oh, it's been described in Arhat, we have to go there. Why would you like to go to Tibet, you know? Oh, there's a sacred mountain, Kailash. It says in Arhat, and it describes perfectly, we can easily find the way there. There's no way that you can get into Tibet. First of all, you have to go to Kathmandu, to Nepal, then you have to go to China, and then you have to take a special permission to go to Tibet. And then you have to walk several dozens of kilometers. There's no way that you could walk there. Why would you like to go there? It's so sacred. Kazat Akhmatov described it as if every person should go there in order to attain some kind of higher spiritual state. But you're Kyrgyz, why would you like to go to Kailash? No, it just feels that you have to go there. Mom, Dad, there's no way, you just can't go there. You know, you reach Kailash, it's not that you can walk around it. You know, it's too difficult for you. And actually I spoil them a lot. I take them all around the world wherever I can take them. And several years passed from that story, and suddenly they were becoming frailer and older, and I was at work, and I thought, there is such a simple thing. They just so much wanted to go to Kailash after reading this Kazat Akhmatov's Arhat book. And it's such a pity when you can't do such a little thing for your parents. You know, they got inspired by the book and they just wanted to go there. I immediately booked my holidays, I booked my trip, and I went to Kailash myself, so that I could become eyes and ears for my parents and describe exactly like Kazat Akhmatov did, and actually to check whether it is the same as he presented in his book. And I went to Kailash. And every single day, Dad was following me in his dreams. When I returned from Kailash and told them everything I've seen, Mom and Dad were holding, yes, he wrote that. And did you see that Potala Palace? You know, did you enter that? Did you go on the third floor of it where the books are presented, the old ancient books? That much was the impact of Kazat Akhmatov on an ordinary family that we have this family story to tell you.
Thank you, Гульнара. Спасибо большое, Гульнара. Далее, для продолжения вечера, мы хотели бы дать слово знаменитому писателю из Казахстана, почетному послу Казахстана Мухтару Шаханову. We would like to invite for welcome words former ambassador of Kazakhstan, famous Kazakh writer Muhtar Shakhanov.
Дорогие друзья, Кazat Akhmatov был настоящим демократом.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, Kazat Akhmatov were a great Democrat.
У нас очень много писателей, поэтов. Например, в Казахстане есть члены Союза писателей СССР более 800 человек, писателей.
Do you have many writers and poets in Central Asia? It is only in Kazakhstan we have more than 800 registered writers and poets.
Ну, многих из них дело другое, слова другое.
But most of them, they write different from what they do actually.
Например, я стоял во главе всей казахстанской демократии.
Once I was the head of the whole Kazakhstan, the democracy of Kazakhstan.
Когда о Казахстане был, когда декабрьское событие 1986 года.
In 1986, the situation in December in Kazakhstan, I was there.
И это была настоящая демократия Советского Союза.
That was the true democracy of Soviet Union.
Вот это декабрьское событие разрушило всего Советского Союза.
And this December occasion,
началом разрушения Советского Союза.
And this occasion in December 1986 was the beginning of the collapse of the Soviet Union.
На первом съезде народных депутатов СССР в Москве, Кремле мне не дали слова. Они боялись, что я буду говорить о декабрьском событии.
In the first of the meeting of the communists in Moscow, they didn't let me speak.
Но пришлось мне обмануть Горбачева, генерального секретаря СССР.
I had to lie to Mr. Gorbachev, back then the first secretary of the party.
Я обманул Горбачева, что сказал ему, я буду говорить только об Арале. Аральские проблемы.
I lied to him. I said I will speak about the problems of Aral Sea.
Когда мне дали слово, я ни слова не говорил об Арале, я поднял декабрьское событие 1986 года всему миру.
And when I got to speak, I didn't say a word about the Aral problems, but I talked about the democracy in December.
Потом Горбачев вызвал меня, бил стол, сказал, что найдем способ закрыть ваш рот.
And then he invited me to his office and is hammering the table and said he will find a way to shut my mouth.
Если тогда меня не поддержал меня первый президент России Борис Ельцин,
if it's not to first the president of Russia, господин Boris Yeltsin,
и лауреат Нобелевской премии Андрей Сахаров,
and the Nobel Prize laureate Sakharov,
мне отправили бы на тот свет.
I would have been long gone.
И потом меня поддержал депутаты Америки, Конгресс Америки.
And then the Congress of America also supported me back then.
Вот тогда все время меня поддержал Казат Ахматов.
And one of the great supporters of me was the Kazat Akhmatov.
Я вместо Айтматова написал книгу «Плащ охотника над пропастью. Исповедь на исходе века». Исповедь на исходе века. Вместо Чингиза Айтматова.
And together with the Chingiz Aitmatov, I wrote a new book. Как называется? Как еще назывался книга?
«Исповедь на исходе века».
«Исповедь на исходе века». Кто из Russian speakers can translate this?
И эта книга переведена на все главные языки мира.
And this book at the moment has been translated to many languages of in the world.
И вместе с Айтматовым я написал пьесу «Ночь воспоминания о Сократе».
And then we together wrote a play which called about the night about memories of Socrates.
Это поставлено на сцене около 10 стран мира.
And around the 10 countries have staged this play by now.
Вот. И Казат Ахматов уговорил Айтматова, что он стал президентом Кыргызстана.
Kazat Akhmatov managed to get Айтматова to become a president of Kyrgyzstan.
Но Айтматов не соглашался.
But then Айтматов disagreed this idea.
И он после этого позвонил мне, Мухтар, Бог с вас, чуть не стал президентом Кыргызстана.
And then he phoned me and he said, because of you, I nearly would have become a president of Kyrgyzstan.
Вот таким образом Казат Ахматов был настоящим писателем и настоящим человеком-демократом.
What I'm trying to say is that Kazat Akhmatov was one of the most great Democrat and a great person himself.
Я же говорил, вот в Казахстане 800 членов Союза писателей, из них только 8 или 10 вместе с нами в борьбе за демократию, в борьбе духовности.
As I said, there's more than 800 members of the Writers' Union, and maybe 8 of them, including me, who is fighting for a real democracy. And
поэтому я выдвинул концепцию. Эту концепцию сейчас поддерживает многие страны.
And the idea I'm trying to bring up, and which is supported by many other countries,
кто потерял правду,
who have lost the truth,
кто не может сказать белое белым, черное черным,
who can't say white is white and black is black,
у кого дело другое, слово другое,
who says one thing and does the other,
и кто не может пустить глубокие корни к своим духовным ценностям,
and who can't put the
свою историю,
deep roots down to his culture, to his history, his homeland,
тот неполноценный человек.
That he is not a 100% human being.
Вот таких писателей, таких поэтов навалом сейчас.
But there's plenty of like these writers and so-called creative people.
Поэтому я здесь вот Марат выпустил книгу нашу, которую мы написали вместе с Чингизом Айтматовым. И свое большое спасибо.
And here's the book that we published together. We write it together with Chingiz Айтматov, and thanks to Murat we published it now.
В свое время я написал поэму, роман в стихах «Заблуждение цивилизации».
My previous book called The Errors of Civilization.
И космоформула «Карающая память», тайно унесенная Чингисханом. Тайно унесенная Чингисханом.
And the secrets taken away by Genghis Khan.
ЮНЕСКО дважды рассмотрел эти произведения.
UNESCO have looked at these books 3 times.
ЮНЕСКО в своей истории не рассмотрел ни одного живого поэта, только меня дважды рассмотрел.
I was the only alive writer poet considered by UNESCO.
И мою поэзию ЮНЕСКО признал высота нынешней поэзии. Нынешней мировой поэзии.
And then he and then by UNESCO has been agreed as a great poetry.
Поэтому мои произведения переведены, стихов перевести трудно же. Мои произведения переведены более 60 языков мира.
And at the moment this book has been translated to more than 60 languages.
А Чингиз Айтматов это совершенно неординарный писатель, великий писатель мира. Чингиз Айтматов.
Yeah, the Chingiz Айтматov is one of the greatest writers in the world.
Его произведения переведено 177 языков мира.
His books has been translated in more than 177 languages.
И он много раз выдвинут на Нобелевскую премию.
And he's been many times the laureate for the Nobel Prize.
В общем, я как потерял Айтматова, я просто сейчас стал одиноким человеком.
Since I've lost we've lost the Айтматов, I've kind of lost my other half.
Поэтому я сейчас ныне я прочитаю маленький отрывок. Идет антикультурная революция. Под близоруким лозунгом «Сначала поднимем благосостояние людей, распахнем золотые двери демократии, а культурой займемся чуть позже». Но человеческая натура такова, что чем больше в обществе стремление к наживе и потребительского эгоизма без опоры на духовность, тем больше государство теряет животворных сил. И вот давать оголтелой материальности время и возможность вариться в собственном соку. Значит, приближать опасность не меньшую, чем нашествие саранчи.
And this is a short piece from from the book The Errors of a Civilization. An anti-culture revolution is on. Beneath a near-sighted slogan done. First raised, the material flag must be. Through wide, the gold doors of democracy. Then later, take up the spiritual side. The human nature can't be denied. The more man's hunger is satisfied and consumers' egoism raised high. Without a spiritual support, the quicker government then falls short. You can't accede to material need. Let man stew in his own juice indeed, or else you will create a catastrophe, not less than a locust horde you will see.
В свое время Андрей Сахаров говорил,
Once Andrei Sakharov said,
вот, берем лучшую сторону капитализма,
let's take the best side of capitalism
и лучшую сторону социализма,
and the best side of socialism,
и сделаем третий там демократию отдельную. Берем хорошую сторону социализма, хорошую сторону капитализма.
Once Sakharov said, we will take the good side of capitalism and the good side of the socialism and to create a new one.
Если мы тогда слушали Сахарова, тогда Советский Союз слушал Сахарова, совершенно мы сейчас жили в другом направлении.
If we were to follow Sakharov's ideas back then, now we would have different times in post-Soviet countries.
Поэтому Казат Ахматов был большим писателем, большим человеком.
Once again, Kazat Akhmatov was a great man and a great writer.
Недавно он погиб, умер, и дай Бог ему.
Recently we've lost him, and
вот, поэтому желаем всем высокого духовного направления.
I wish everyone all the best in this festival.
И вот у верблюда бывает, верблюд может не пить 40 дней воды.
And a camel cannot drink up to 40 days.
И всем правдивым людям желаю выносливость верблюда казахской степи.
And I wish all the great people here the strength of that camel. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, also we have another honorable guest from Kyrgyzstan, and a great writer, playwright and poet, and a former Minister of Culture of Kyrgyzstan, Mr. Sultan Raif, and would like to add a few words for this festival. Thank you.
Мы бы хотели пригласить на несколько слов писателя, драматурга из Кыргызстана, экс-министра культуры Кыргызстана Султана Раева.
Добрый вечер, уважаемые дамы и господа.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Я мог бы выступить блестяще на русском и на английском языке.
I could easily speak both in Russian and English.
Но я выступлю на языке Айтмата и
But I would like to talk in Айтматов's language and Kazakh Айтматов's language.
Урматтуу мырзалар жана айымдар, урматтуу бүгүнкү эл аралык фестивалда уюштуруп аткан
Dear
уюштуруучулар.
ladies and gentlemen and participants of this International Literature Festival,
Мен биринчи кезекте ушу кыргыз делегациясынын атынан биздин улуу жазуучубуз Казат Акматовду эл аралык адабият фестивалынын алкагында эскерип жатканыңыздарга чоң ыраазычылык билдирем.
on behalf of the Kyrgyz delegation, I would like to thank for the memorial for the remembrance of Kazat Akmatov within the framework of this International Literature Festival.
Казат Акматов жөнүндө мен айта турган болсом, ушул Лондонго келатканда мен 3 күн мурда үйүндө болдум.
Just before coming to London, 3 days before coming to London, I visited his house in Bishkek.
Казат Акматов кыргыз адабиятындагы эң таланттуу жазуучулардын бири.
Kazat Akmatov is one of the most talented writers in Kyrgyz literature.
Анын бир трагедиясы Казат Акматовдун жазуучулугу Айтматовдун фонунда калып калды да.
His only tragedy was that we also had a great writer, Chingiz Айтматov, and he was in the shadow of such a great writer.
Казат Акматов ошол Чыңгыз Айтматовдун артында келаткан биздин дүйнөлүк масштабтагы жазуучу десем мен жаңылышпайм.
It won't be a mistake for me to say that Kazat Akmatov is one of the greatest international writer who actually was walking just behind Chingiz Айтматов.
Себеби анын адабияты уникалдуу, өзгөчө бир феноменде ой жүгүрткөн.
Because his writing is phenomenal. He's got a unique way of thinking.
Анын ушул чыгармалары эл аралык деңгээлде чыкпай калганы албетте бизди өкүндүрөт.
And it's a pity for us that his writings were not in his own time widely published, presented to the international audience.
Мен ойлойм, Акматовдун чыгармачылыгы мындан ары ушул анын мурасы, адабий мурасы дүйнөлүк маданияттын, дүйнөлүк адабияттын энчи болот деп. Ошол аракеттин биринчи кадамы бүгүнкү кече деп койсом болот.
I think, and I would like to believe, that from now on, particularly from this evening when we remember him, his literature, his writings will be far more wider known in the world.
Казат Акматов өзү адам катарындагы, аябай граждандык позициясы катарындагы, саясатчы катарындагы өтө биздин эң алдыңкы инсандардан болгон.
Kazat Akmatov is a unique, had a unique personality. He's also a very active citizen and a politician in the political arena of the country.
Bizde intelligenttер көп, бирок интеллигентность деген аз да, bizde ошол чынында интеллигент адам болгон өзүнүн душасы.
So you've got a lot of intelligent people, people who call themselves intelligentsia, but very few truly intelligent people, and Kazat Akmatov was one of them.
Ал локалдык жашаган, глобалдык ой жүгүрткөн.
He lived locally, but he thought globally.
Мен ойлойм, келечекте Казат Акматовдун адабий мурасы жалпы дүйнөлүк окурмандарга жетет.
I believe that the heritage of Kazat Akmatov will reach the world audience.
Барыңыздарга чоң рахмат.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, I think we do deserve a little bit of break, by which I mean an entertainment. We have with us today a great London-based Uyghur ensemble who is agreed to join us, and I would like to invite Rahima Mahmoud and London Uyghur ensemble on stage. Please welcome Rahima Mahmoud and Uyghur London Ensemble.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're very happy to be here at the Yunus Emre Centre tonight and to be taking part in this Festival of Central Asian Literature. Because we do believe that the Uyghurs are culturally at least an important part of Central Asia. Our group, the London Uyghur Ensemble, has been meeting and playing Uyghur music in London for nearly 10 years. We come from various parts of the world, from the Uyghur homeland of Xinjiang or East Turkestan, as you like, also from Kyrgyzstan, also from Britain, and also from Southeast China. I'll leave you to guess who comes from which part of the world. But our Uyghur tradition then, I think shares also in your Central Asian literary tradition. We sing the Uyghur mukam, and the lyrics that we sing are drawn from the poetry of Nawai, of Mashrab, of Fuzuli. So I hope maybe you'll recognize some of the words that we sing. Tonight we're not going to do too much mukam for you, maybe one or two short excerpts, and also a couple of contemporary songs. So our first song is called Achil Achil, Open Open. Actually these lyrics were by a famous early 20th century writer, Abdurrahman, who was a reformist, a modernizer, who wrote very famously a book called Awake, My Uyghur. So I hope this will wake you up.
I thought I must say in Uyghur or in Turkish, so we must hear that the actual our mother tongue.
Yes, yes, very much. Well done.
So our next song is called Tenrim Yoprak. It's another piece of modern poetry. Iskender, do you want to tell them about this?
Yeah, so there's a very influential poem about written by a very famous, one of the most influential modern Uyghur historians during his prison times. And the lyrics go, Tenrim yaprak titrep topladı, yüreğim dertlik, erkeği sokladı. Çünkü ey yarın senin halini gördüm pıranda, konuşa çağırdım. Which means, I suppose a lot of people understand, my body trembles like a leaf, and my heart is filled with sorrow and cannot beat freely, because I see you, my darling, that you're suffering already at the time when you're blossoming. So, for that.
He's got a very famous work on the history of the Uyghurs, Uyghurlar, which was banned in China, and because of his book he was thrown into prison. But the book fortunately has a Turkish translation under the title of Uyghurlar. It's published in Turkey, so if you're interested.
Okay, I think we're going to retreat back into tradition now and play a short song from the Mukam. This is from Chebiat Mukam. So if we have your patience for one last song, we'd like to do one more excerpt from the Mukam. This is from Özhal Mukam. And there's some very beautiful spiritual lyrics, really drawing on the Sufi tradition. So this poetry speaks of overturning the normal order, and so the sheep are marching in front of the horses, the fish are chasing the snakes in the river, and all the wild beasts are crying out Allah in their hearts. So we enjoy this one.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. That was Rahim Mahmoud and London Uyghur Ensemble. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, we still have a few speakers, and I would like to invite them on board and to say a few words. And one of our honorable guests today here is a great friend of ours, Mr. David Perry, and he's also a head of Eurasian Creative Guild. Please welcome David Perry.
It's been a very long day, so I'll keep it brief. A great pleasure to meet you all. It's wonderful to be at the 4th festival. We're going to have a wonderful time. We've got a plethora of talented people, and I know that this festival deserves all your support. We've got writers, we've got poets, we've got playwrights, we've got philosophers, we've got mystics in turbans. We have a wonderful, wonderful weekend ahead, and I think I'll leave it there. A great pleasure to meet you all. I'm available. Please come and say hello. Assalamu alaikum.
Marina.
Next, we would like to invite a writer from Kazakhstan, Ravshan Burkitbayeva-Nukenova. Please, can you tell some welcome words to the festival?
Уважаемые дамы и господа,
Dear ladies and gentlemen,
мне выпала огромная честь представлять казахскую поэзию в Великобритании.
I'm honored here to represent Kazakh poetry here in Great Britain.
Мы только приехали из Кембриджа.
We just arrived from Cambridge.
Храм науки, насчитывающий более 800-летнюю историю.
From a Cambridge that includes more than 800 years of history.
Который по праву гордится своими выдающимися преподавателями и выпускниками.
Which is also proud of his former students, great thinkers.
Исааком Ньютоном, Чарльзом Дарвином, Лордом Байроном, Эрнестом Резерфортом, Владимиром Набоковым и другими.
Yeah. Which is Isaac Newton, Charles Darwin, Lord Byron, and Vladimir Nabokov, and many more.
Более 130 из них стали лауреатами Нобелевской премии.
More than 130 of them have become laureates of the Nobel Prize.
Сегодня эту эстафету продолжает профессор Стивен Уильям Хокинг.
Today, one of the modern great scientists is Stephen Hawking.
Крупнейший ученый современности, популяризатор науки.
And the greatest scientist of modern world.
Четвертый Евразийский международный книжный форум и литературный фестиваль, который проходит в эти дни в вашей стране, призваны обогатить мировую культуру, способствуют диалогу между Востоком и Западом, укреплению дружбы и взаимопонимания, плодотворного сотрудничества между народами.
This fourth Eurasian and Central Asian Book Forum and Literature Festival is to create a great platform for creatives, writers, and to unite the West and East.
Человечество по-прежнему балансирует на грани войны и мира, не прекращаются конфликты и кровопролитие.
Humanity at the age of the wars and peace.
Как хрупок наш стеклянный мир, не крепче мамонтовой плоти, и краток наш вселенский пир, и где-то рок незримый бродит.
And a few piece of her own poetries and the book which has been published recently you can find on the board. Thank you.
Нынешний год проходит под сенью воспоминаний о 70-летии Победы во Второй мировой войне.
This year is around the 70 years of the victory of the Second World War.
Об этом повествует и моя поэма «Эхо войны».
And my poems Echoes of War is about it.
В эти дни Великобритания отмечает День памяти по погибшим войнам.
These days in Great Britain, as you know, they're celebrating the memories of the people who fall in war.
Искусство поэзии требует от человека не столько разумного, последовательного, логического объяснения, сколько чувственного переосмысления самого предмета подражания, писал Аль-Фараби.
As a quote from Al-Farabi says, the arts of the poetry is more for thoughts of humanity and logic understanding of the humanity these days.
В своих сочинениях об искусстве поэзии, трактате о канонах искусства поэзии.
And in his works, he also mentions,
которого называли вторым учителем после Аристотеля.
Sorry. And after his poetry and his works, he also been called as a second thinker after Aristotle. Yeah, it's in 8th century.
Он родился в городе Фараб на берегу Сырдари при впадении в нее реки Арыс.
He was born in a place called Farab near Sirdarya.
Нынешняя территория Южно-Казахстанской области.
And nowadays he is the south of Kazakhstan.
Целью моего поэтического сборника «Полынный ветер» было познакомить западного читателя с историей, традициями казахов, веяниями обширных просторов, донести мотивы и ритмы песен, дыхание наших гор и степей.
My book, Warm with the Wind, is about the Kazakh nation, about their traditions, about their soul and thoughts and philosophy of the people.
разрешите, я одно стихотворение прочитаю, потому что мы восстанавливаем Великий Шелковый путь.
Well, allow me to read a small piece of one of my poetries. We're actually trying to rebuild a great Silk Road.
Забыты древние дороги, и караваны не видны, и нет следов былой тревоги, руины высятся одни, и шум тих, и вязнет в глине, упрямый ослик ищет двор, и звон серебряный в кувшине оглушит замерший простор. Но жизни нет в тех стенах пыльных, хоть жаром пышут кирпичи, не видно на путях рассыльных, не слышен свист тугой камчи. Тепло хранит светильник древний, не блекнет чаш лазурных вязь, и голосом степных поверий ты продолжаешь с прошлым связь.
The great Silk Way. The ancient roads are forgotten, and caravans are not visible anymore. And there is no trace of former alarms, only ruined towers. All noise died down, getting stuck in mud. Stubborn donkeys looked for a yard. When the sound of silver was ringing in a jar, so stunned the Wassons stood motionless. But now there is no life behind those dusty walls, though bricks and dirt. Messengers are not seen on the roads. The whistle of a tight whip no longer heard. Age-old lamps keep heat, while the ligature of sky-blue bowls does not fade. Yet only the voice of steps believes maintain these links with our past. And that's from the Wormwood Wind by Roshan Burkitbayeva Nukenova from Kazakhstan. Thank you very much.
And next speaker we would like to say some welcome words at our festival is Maral Jumanalina, a writer from and participant of the contest from Kazakhstan.
Добрый вечер.
Good evening, everyone.
Я по образованию музыкант-педагог и всему, чему обучалась сама, передала своим детям.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Я по образованию музыкант-педагог.
Well, officially, I'm a music teacher, and everything that I have been I've been taught during my life and from my university, I have decided to teach my children, basically me and my brother.
Владеет скрипкой, виолончелью и вот сейчас национальный инструмент изучает хоббис.
For example, one of the examples that basically what she taught her children is the example of me. I'm playing violin, cello, and also Kazakh instrumental, which is called kobis. It's not the same as cello, string instrument.
Когда выпала возможность стать домохозяйкой, я с радостью использовала все свое свободное время для того, чтобы изложить свои мысли на бумаге.
Well, I had a chance, in my life, to be a housewife, so I decided to use this chance with a big opportunity to use my free time just to write down all my opinions, thoughts on the paper.
Собираясь сюда на фестиваль, я собрала все свои рассказы, стихи в одну книжку, и каждый рассказ стихотворения сопровождается моей собственной иллюстрацией.
Basically, she prepared the book before coming to this festival, which is called the Book of Life, and it contains all her stories she faced, she was taught, and she learned something. Also, moreover, except the stories and poems, it also contains some pictures which she also did. She did make. So everything is inside this book is made by herself.
Я счастлива тем, что мои работы были как-то признаны, поскольку я любитель, я не профессионал.
As she's not a professional writer or painter, or she's only musician, music teacher, she was very happy to be recognized by officials and by this festival to come here as well.
Я счастлива познакомиться с профессионалами, получить опыт, вдохновение.
So I think it's also a great chance for her to get nice experience and networking opportunities, and to get, firstly and more important, is to get the inspiration to write something more and more interesting. Thank you very much.
Evet, sayın dinleyicilerimiz, seyircilerimiz, bu akşam burada bitiriyoruz yayınımızı.
Next participant of our festival is Yelena
Başka yayınlarda birlikte olmak halinde. Bir dakika arkadaşlar ya. Başka yayınlarda tekrar görüşmek üzere. Bay bay.